Hi everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. It's Tuesday night and I'm here with a sketch challenge and I'm a minute later, so I got organizing my markers, trying to put them in order with the stamp pads, and I just kind of got distracted there for a minute. It was all set up to go. Anyway, I'm here now, so I have a sketch challenge for you. And I hope you like this one. I am going to use the Christmas Barn stamp set. I'm not going to use the dies. I'm just going to kind of keep it fairly simple and let the sketch kind of do its thing and just use the stamp. So I hope you like this sketch. I hope you play along. It will go live on my Facebook group page and on Instagram at about 7 o'clock Pacific. So if you miss any of the measurements as I'm going through, you can always grab it on my social media and make your cards. And don't forget, if you're not part of my Facebook group already, join. The link is underneath this video, and I'd love for you to share your projects in my group. So grab the link and then just click to join. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Betty. Welcome. Okay, I'm going to switch over and show you the sketch. All right. That seems a little blurry to me. Hopefully it's not too blurry. So this is the sketch. As I look at it now, it kind of reminds me of a certificate with a seal on it. But anyway, I kind of like it. So lots of layers to this one, but you can keep it as, hey, Lynette, as simple as you want. And in fact, I'm going to use some designer series paper. I'm going to use some stamping on it. And so I'm going to keep it. You could even do some embossing on it if you wanted to. So that's the sketch, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then layer number 1, which is the blue layer, is 4 inches by 5 1/4. Layer 2 is this kind of orangey, yellowy orange color, is 3 3/4 by 5. Oh, good. I'm glad it's clear. It looks a little blurry on my computer. Layer number 3, which is this green strip across, is 1 inch by 5. And then layer 4 is the blue 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And then the white is 2.5 by 4. That's where I'm going to do my stamping. And then it's about a 1.5 inch circle. Hey, Darlene, welcome. I'm going to use that for my sentiment. So if your sentiment is bigger or smaller, you could switch it up and use slightly different sizes depending on what your sentiment is. Hey, Nancy, welcome. Okay, so let's get started. I bring in my supplies. So first of all, I'm using the Christmas Barn. I love this one, and I think I've said before, this reminds me of a stamp set that I had many years ago. And one of the very first stamps that I bought, not Stampin' Up!, to make Christmas cards, and it was a scene with a barn in the back. And it was the very first time I'd ever used the puff paint. So that Snowfall Accent puff paint in various forms has been around for, gosh, many years. And I actually put the puff paint as if it was snow on the edge of my barn. And I think I've shown that on a card that I've made. Anyway, it's such a pretty barn with the fence and then the sleigh. If you want to use the wreath, and then I'm going to use the trees as well. And then these really fun, it's probably hard to see, stamp is like footprints in the snow walking up to the barn. Some great sentiments as well. And the dies that go along with this, not only do you have the die to cut the barn and the fence, and then another fence and the tree sleigh, there are dies that cut out all around as if you fussy cut around this "May joy fill your heart this season" and the "Merry Christmas to you and yours." It's kind of cool. I've never seen them do that before. All right, let me bring in my cardstock and other things. So my base is Evening Evergreen, and I've cut it 5.5. Yeah, Nancy, this was one of the first ones that I actually decided I wanted. It's just such a fun, and it has that kind of nostalgic feel to me, so I think that's why. So this is Evening Evergreen, 5.5 by 8.5, and scored at 4 1/4. And then my layer number 2, I'm going to use designer series paper. So I'm kind of using the combination of Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent. So This kind of looks like snow falling. Hey, Ginny, welcome. So this is 4 inches by 5 1/4. Let's move this. I think I've got everything scored. Okay, so then I've got a piece of Very Vanilla. I'm using Very Vanilla tonight, just it feels like it's kind of right for this card. So Very Vanilla is 3 3/4 by 5. And then I've got a piece of this same designer series paper that is 1 inch by 5. Haven't decided which side I'm going to use yet. Maybe that side just to switch it up. And then I've got a piece of Evening Evergreen that's 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And Very Vanilla that's 2 1/2 by 4. And then my sentiment piece I've cut. This is the out of the Stylish Shapes dies. And of course, my dies are in such a mess. I don't know how they get to be such a mess. This would be I think this is the 3rd smallest. Yeah, so it's the 3rd smallest size. So depending on the size of your sentiment, you can switch that up. When I cut it, I actually didn't really know what sentiment, and so I was thinking I was going to have to grab a different stamp set, but the sentiment I've chosen will fit on this one just. And then for the inside of the card, this is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And this is just a piece of the designer series paper that I cut off that is 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/4. So that will be for the inside of the card. All right, let's take these and do, these are the ones I want to stamp on. So I'm going to do my barn in green. It's kind of odd, but I am. She says, is she going to? Maybe I will do it in black. Let's save the green for some other things. So I've got Tuxedo Black Memento. So we'll stamp the barn. So on these big stamps, I know I've said this, I often will stamp from the top just because it's easier to get coverage when I've got a big one. Now I find I have to kind of look at this because I want to get my barn straight and not look like it's tipping over. Although if it's an old barn, it would perhaps be tipping over. Okay, there we go. Now I'm not going to color this, I don't think. So this piece is going to go on here like this. And then this piece is going to go on like this. Now, I am going to put my designer series paper, but I'm going to do some stamping using Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent with this tree. So I'm going to start with, actually, maybe, you know what, I'm not going to use Soft Succulent because I don't want to mix up my colors. I'm going to stamp off. So I'm just going to kind of stamp and then do Second Generation just to put some trees in behind. Oops, and then I did that. Let's stamp off. Okay. Trees in behind. Now let's see what that looks like. I may move this down slightly and just kind of cover over the bottom of the trees. Okay, we're going to have to do some more and farther up to the top. All right, there we go. There we go. Hopefully now we can see the trees above the barn. Yeah, okay. I'm going to adjust my designer series paper down a little bit so I can see the trees. There we go. Okay. Now, I was thinking, and I still might do this. So these footprints that lead up to the barn, I am going to take this off for a minute. I'm going to put this on like this, roughly where it would go. And I'm going to stamp these on this bottom layer and up to the barn. So you're going to see the footprints. And now when I put this on again, you will be able to see these footprints. Okay, so let's start gluing. Hopefully that made sense. Now, if you wanted to, you could do some coloring, but I'm just going to kind of leave the barn without coloring on it. Oops. Go get that straight. And then this, what I want to try and do is match up my, oops, this goes on first. Okay, let me think. I'll put the polka dots down. Kind of looks like snow. Like that. Now you can either leave this adhered flat, or see if I can get that on straight. There we go. Or you could pop it up with dimensionals, which is what I think I'm going to do. I'm almost to the end of this package of dimensionals. I cut this last night when I was on my class. Sometimes hard to get. There we go. To pull out a new package. There's something quite satisfying of finishing up a package of dimensionals. All right, there we go. It's in here. And I'm just going to put a couple in the middle so that the middle of this doesn't sag. All right, now I want to get this pathway up so you can see some trees. Okay. And now we can just put this together. All right, so this is my piece of cardstock. That's the raised line. So always fold into the raised line and burnish with your bone folder. And this will go on. Sometimes it's kind of nice just to do, gosh, get that straight, do cards that you don't have to dig out. Well, I did do some die cutting on this because I have my sentiment layer, but it's pretty easy, not die cutting the barn or anything. Yeah. Yes, this barn is, so this one, if you do live in Canada, this is the, and are interested, this is the bundle that we are featuring in the October Your Creativity Awaits kit. So the kit, you get 8 cards, 2 of 4 designs, as well as the stamp set, and you can add on the bundle. If you don't live in Canada, the tutorial is available for free. Yeah, the DSP that I used is from the In Color collection. So this is the soft succulent designer series paper. Okay, I'm going to use this May Joy Fill Your Heart this season, and I'm stamping it in Evening Evergreen on this piece of soft succulent that I cut out using the die. And we're going to put him right there. So now let's see. I'm going to put 1 dimensional on the bottom, and then I'm going to put glue on the top because it's going to be adhered to the layer that is already popped up, but I don't want the bottom to sag. So we're just going to put this down here in the corner with a dimensional on the bottom. And then the last thing on the front, These are the rustic metallic dots, or adhesive back dots. They just seem to go, it's kind of got that vintagey feel. So I'm just going to put some of these on. All right, we'll just put in there. Okay. All right, and then the inside of the card, let's take and stamp the tree again. Like that. And then I think I'm going to use this other one that says Merry Christmas to you and yours. Get another block. Got it. Well, this is a big one. All right. And we'll just put this one in the middle. Hopefully I've got it straight. Not too bad. Thanks, Deborah. Yeah, I've been having fun with this bundle as I've started to play with it. And I've kind of brought the vintage feel back. So some of the cards, if you do get the tutorial or the kit, I've used Early Espresso and Cherry Cobbler, which is such a nostalgic feel for me. When I first started stamping with Stampin' Up, it was close to Christmas, and so a lot of the cards were used Cherry Cobbler and Early Espresso. Now let's just take, and this is Wink of Stella, and let's just put some Wink of Stella on. Now when you squeeze, I need to pull some liquid into the nib. Don't forget to squeeze off of your image, off of your card, otherwise you'll get big splodges. There we go. And then you can pick up some of that. So I'm just going to kind of put some Wink of Stella here where the snow would be, and then just kind of bring it down. And maybe a little bit on the roof. Make it look like it's kind of shimmery with frost. Wouldn't be snow, but frost. I've got a fair amount of. So I always put my Wink of Stella on at the end, because it can take a while to dry. And I've got a fair amount because I've used the liquid that I picked up off of my grid paper. So it's going to take a minute or two to dry. And so rather than, yes, stamping on the envelope too, Ginny, is a great idea. So if you were going to give these away at Christmas time or send them away at Christmas time, you definitely want to stamp on the envelope. I don't do that typically, just because I would then have envelopes all around that I may not use for the cards. So, but definitely you can finish the envelope not only stamping on the envelope, but cutting a layer of designer series paper to put on the back flap is a really nice idea as well. And you can just kind of draw around that edge of the flap of the, I don't have an envelope here, but just draw around the edge and create a template for yourself, and then adhere that onto your envelope. That's really pretty. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me tonight. That was fun. I enjoyed that card. I will be back live on Thursday night, and it is a mystery challenge. Is it a mystery challenge? I believe it's a mystery challenge. I have to think about this. Oh, I know it is. Yes, I already have it ready for you. It's a tic-tac-toe. So I hope you'll join me for the tic-tac-toe. The clues, the tic-tac-toe will go live about 9 o'clock on Thursday morning, 9 o'clock Pacific. And so grab your stuff, figure out what row, could be horizontally, vertically, or diagonally you want to make a card from. So choose a row and grab your supplies and come and make a card with me. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. If you're new and haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe. Love to have you get notified when I do my lives or post my tutorials. All right, thanks for joining me, everybody. Happy stamping. Bye.